and filled with discontentment. Because if it was just around the corner or just within your grasp, you know that you just got to remain consistent about what you're doing and it's going to happen for you. But why is it that you don't feel that? Because the things that you're doing, the things that you're thinking, the things that you're dwelling on, and you're not filtering out the toxicity of things in life, not just in trading community, but in everything. If you're not filtering all that stuff that's going to be burdening you with decision making about things that you have no control over. If you are inundating yourself with that constantly, that's draining. And that not is only a speed bump or an impediment to you getting to your successful, whatever that outcome is. It's an incredible drain on energy and time. And anyone, no matter what level of fitness, aptitude, significance, position in life, whatever, if they're constantly feeding themselves negativity, toxicity, and letting that stuff steal and rob them of their time and energy in investing in themselves for the betterment of themselves, they're not going to be firing on all cylinders. They're not going to have everything at their disposal, like the wind behind their sails, moving them along. So why are you expecting yourself to be any different? You're not going to be any different. You're not going to be the exception. So it's important that when we start off in any endeavor, not just trading, but anything worth doing, shouldn't be easy, true, and trading is in the top percentile of that. Don't believe me, and if you've tried it, you discovered, wow, this isn't as easy as the book said. It's not as easy as ICT said it was going to be when that video came out. I watched that. I wanted to go out there and trade that first fair value gap in the first hour at 10 o'clock in the morning. But it didn't do what I thought it was going to do, and I lost. And therefore, I'm questioning my decision about trading. I'm questioning my position about whether or not smart money concepts is the right thing. Is smart money concepts the new retail logic? Are they moving on ICT's stuff? Is there too many people doing ICT's concepts? And now it becomes diluted. And that's all nonsense. Okay, those are ideas that come from the mind of someone either is marketing something and they want to have a compare and contrast. And we've never seen anything deliver better than my stuff. But it's also from the mindset and the stance of someone that is feeling the pressure of not realizing their premature celebration. They are not in a position of realizing their goal. They have not arrived at success yet, and they just suffered some measure of setback. Now in trading, we know what that means. It's the last trade. It's not, where have I been in the last 6 months and I've grown my account up to this much percentage, and I've had a 40% strike rate. It's not even 50%. I can't brag about that. I can't go on social media about that, but I'm making money. But the last trade, even though I'm not profitable, the last trade I took, I did something impulsive, and I don't want to place the blame on me. So I got to look for something else to blame. I got to find some other fault. That is not someone that's pursuing excellence. You're inviting things outside of yourself to justify your poor execution, your poor preparation, your decision. You have to own that. And in trading, you can't just fault the next person. You can't fault, hey, you told me to do this, I did it and it didn't work. No, you have to own every bit of this. Every bit of it is yours. The outcome, whether it be profitable or unprofitable, deferred or early before you thought it was going to happen for you, that's all in your hands. No one can speed it up. No one can elongate it. They can't push it and defer it further away, but you. But you. But I want to commend you. I want to remind you that, it's Saturday, folks. This is one of the 2 days each week that the working class hero strives to get to. They just got to get to the end of Friday, and then I can go do what I want to do on those 2 days, Saturday and Sunday. And the majority of the 9-to-5ers, the people out there, the pencil pushers, the wrench turners, the mower pushers, the guy picking up your trash, They're not usually spending their Saturday mornings listening to a guy bloviate about something that they have yet to master. But other people have done it. And the word on the street is it works really good and you can make money if you get good at it. So I commend you for taking time to invest in yourself. And I'm not getting paid to do this. There's no ad revenue here because I sincerely want you to understand what it is I'm presenting to you. Each of us, when we aspire to do more outside of the job, the idea is, I want to have something better. There has to be something more to life than just this. This being get up, go to work, come home, greet the family for a couple hours, and make sure you get to bed in time because you got to do it all over again. And then find how you can make that income spread out as far as you can and lie to yourself and your family and say, we're living the dream. They call it that because you have to be asleep to believe it. You have to know one thing. What you're doing right now, if this is the first time you were here, or if you recently just started, or if you've been continuously doing it every time I've sat down and talked to you, you are separating yourself. You are distinguishing yourself from the 9-to-5er mentality. You're not satisfied with that. And guess what, folks? There's people out there that's never going to do what you're trying to do right now. And they can live a content life because they don't have unrealistic expectations. They don't expect to win the lottery. They don't expect to have some surprise. Here, you made some extra money because you were related to this person and you inherited something. But they're happy with what they've done in life. They love their career. They make their bills meet each month. Their children are not given things outside the scope of modesty. So they're not inflated with expectations and entitlement. Their spouse is content because they have someone that's a breadwinner. They're not living wildly. They're not taking crazy risks. And I'm not saying that can't exist. And I'm sure there's some of you that are coming from that persuasion and just morbid curiosity. You heard about this guy, ICT. You heard about these things called the smart money concepts. And you just want to listen in and figure out, what's this all about? Not that you necessarily want to do it yourself, but you just want to know because you're curious. And you might be one of those individuals that I don't need to trade. I'm doing okay. And that's wonderful. That's a blessing. But there is a mindset in a lot of folks that is entrepreneurial. That means that you're going to try to do something outside the boundaries of a 9-to-5 job. You're not trying to stay in that position of, I hope they give me enough money to cover my cost of living increases and stay ahead of inflation. You want something more. And that's excellence. And that level of excellence doesn't come easy. It doesn't come quick. It doesn't come without cost. And while I'm teaching for free, and I'm proving that I'm doing it in a mode where I'm not collecting anything, and I'm encouraging all of you to put it on your own YouTube channels, you make the ad revenue off of it. Make that make sense as a course seller. I'm investing in you because I know if you're spending time listening to me on a Saturday morning, you care enough to at least put your ear to it and say, what can I use from this as useful? Does it help me? Does it encourage me? Does it steer me away from potentially bad habits that I don't realize are going to be impactful to me and detrimental and push my goal further from me without me realizing it? That's what mentoring is. Mentoring is taking experience that other people don't have or could not acquire, and you're sharing that through experience, through conceptual ideas, and thought process. I'm trying to align and calibrate your expectations because excellence is obtainable, but it's not easily obtainable. And a lot of people that set out into any task, not trading only, but anything worthwhile doing in, 6 figures or more per year income potential, it's going to require you to have a little bit of different level of tenacity. Obvious, you got to be motivated, and it can't be motivation on the superficial level. That means I got to have instant gratification. Because if this guy at ICT can't show me how to make money the first time I sit down and listen to him, then I'm not interested. I'm going to find the next person that promises that. And I promise you this, doing this for 33 years, there is no one, there's zero, no one that's going to make this fast, easy, and profitable right out of the gate for you. It isn't going to happen. You're not, no, let me rephrase this in a way. I have students that are exceptionally well-versed in what I taught. They're profitable. They have proven profitability, and they run signal services. Let me say this, students, and I'm not trying to come at any of you, but I'm saying this in honesty, and if you just let me speak it, you can agree, or you should agree by your maturity. What I'm saying is the truth. Barring that, no one's going to put you in profitability right out the gate quickly and fast. But that is not knowing how to do it. That's simply just placing someone in a position where if they follow and do everything that you're saying you're doing and you're profitable, then yes, in that instance, those individuals could be ushered to the front of the line and get immediate feedback in terms of making money right out the gate. But that is not the same thing as them knowing what you know as a student. There's a stark contrast between the two. Knowing how to do this and being able to cut your own paycheck and make whatever you want to make. Make whatever you want to make. There's no end line. There's no ceiling. You can't make no more than this. Who says that? Who says that? The pundits, people that don't even make money, and they're miserable online. They're trying to come at everyone because they're just hurtful. Because they're ate up with envy. They're ate up with regret because they can't make it work in their own hands. You as an entrepreneur, you're here on a Saturday listening, pursuing mindset, things that keep you calibrated on the right path. What should I be doing? What should I avoid doing? Even if it feels right, even if you have somebody online that you like, maybe they bought a car or two, or they go on vacations and they show you things that way and you're inspired by that. You know, as a young man, I like that kind of stuff too. But I can promise you, my neighbors didn't care about Lamborghinis after a little while. They didn't care about Ferraris. They didn't care about Audi R8s. They didn't care about the Aston Martins. They didn't care about Corvettes. They didn't care about whatever I brought home. They only care about it when it first happens. Oh, wow, you got a new car. That's it. That's it. It's over. The novelty's worn off. And if you are pursuing that measure of success, where you can afford to buy things at inflated prices to impress people that you don't really care about being friends with, they're not going to have Thanksgiving dinner with you. They're not going to have something underneath the tree on Christmas time. But you care so much about their opinion about you, you're going to go out and spend $400,000, $500,000, $600,000 for a car to get them to say two things. Wow. And how'd you do it? Once that novelty's worn off, you have that depreciating asset. Make that make sense. Because if that's all you're doing this for, let me tell you, that's stupid. That's dumb. It's wasteful. And you're not going to get what you think you're going to get from it. It only lasts a moment. Now contrast that with a lot of zeros after a particular number in your bank accounts, plural. And you don't have to go out there and do those things to make yourself feel content. You're with a spouse or a significant other, and they're not expecting you to do those things to feel content. You're grounded. You're made. You don't have any concerns about what inflation is going to do, what gas is going to cost. Steak prices are this much money in the grocery store. Oh my goodness. I ain't worried about that. And people that know how to make money as a tool, they're not worried about it either. But that doesn't come overnight. It doesn't happen like that. And when you first start in any endeavor, and you're usually sold on some kind of a gimmick, you get excited. They present that stuff to you first. And I don't do that. I tell you, this is going to take you some time. but you can get there. You're going to make a lot of money if you stick with it, but you're going to lose money in the beginning. And people don't want to hear that. They put their fingers in the air or they turn it off. They walk away. They're thinking, well, I know me. Subconsciously, this is what's going on in their brain, saying, I know myself and I'm not disciplined. I'm not able to follow rules well. I speed a lot in my cars. I cross the yellow line. I do everything I'm not supposed to do. And if I can get away with it, I'll brag about it. That's a character flaw. And those things are going to manifest themselves in your trading, in your decision making, in your speculation, in your timing of when you want to buy and when you want to sell, whether you're going to use a stock or whether you're going to not use a stock. How many contracts or lots you're going to trade in deference to Forex or in futures. All of that impacts who you are as a trader. And if you're not successful, I counsel you to look at what you do on the regular. How do you live your life? Are you reckless? Are you impulsive in everything else that you do? And you think somehow suddenly you're just going to fall into, I'm locked in. I'm in the zone. I read Mark Douglas's book and I'm primed for success now. It doesn't work that way, folks. If I was marketing something and I want to, have clicks and people listening to me just because I can bring a large crowd, I would do all that stuff. But that doesn't make you money. It doesn't do it. It does the opposite. It builds expectations and it toxic inflow of unrealistic expectations for someone that's first starting out. And you having an entrepreneur mindset, because you're here on a Saturday morning, this is your off time. You're here listening to someone talk to you. And I think I got a little bit of credibility now. And I've presented some pillars in our community now that have proven that they're millionaires. And they use the stuff that I teach that you're learning. And they're no exception. No backhanded comment meant there. I have no students that are superior intellects. There was no advantage of them being super smart ahead of time. Okay, let's put it that way. In fact, I have extremely intelligent people, neurosurgeons, astrophysicists. I have people in very, very high seats in their employment. Very, very intellectual people, much smarter than me. And I'm not saying that I'm a smart person. I'm just saying that I'm impressed and in fact, many times intimidated when I talk with them and this is what I do, this is where I work. And, it's humbling for me for them to say what they're learning from me is challenging for them. And to me, it's not because it's hard. It's not technically hard. It's that they're very, very academically smart. Like my uncle, academically smart, book smart. And it's very hard for someone book smart from academia to come into this field unless you're a quant and you break things down algorithmically. It's hard for someone to bridge that gap. And if you fall in that category, you're among very good company because it's not an isolated thing just for you. You're looking at things in such a rigid manner, and you're also bringing whatever personal characteristics that you have, you're obsessive about, they're impeding your understanding. Because my concepts they're not hard. I don't complicate anything. What complicates it is when other individuals come to it and they want to say, this is rebranded this. Okay, well, it's not rebranded because you're not coming forward with this is where it came from, this is how you're using it, and this is how they taught it. So that falls short. The other expectation is they come here to say nobody makes money with it. It doesn't work. None of it works. And we've smashed that continuously. There's people coming forward all the time. Here you go. I got receipts. Here you go. I got receipts. So it matters not how much is in my bank account, what I'm earning. You don't spend my money. But you coming to me in the beginning, you want to see, does anybody do anything with this? Can anybody learn from this guy? And there's an army of people out there to do it. And I allow these individuals to step forward, have their flowers, have their moment, because it's encouragement for them. They feel good. It's a moment of accomplishment. But it's also more impactful to you as someone that's on the fence, deciding whether or not this is for you. Because remember, I'm not dangling anything in front of you. I'm telling you in the beginning, you're going to have to work for this. But there's nothing like this. And even if you do a small percentage of what you hope to achieve, isn't that better than never having done it at all? That's still victory. That's still accomplishment. It's better than you were. So what? You can't make $100,000 a month. But if you make an extra $1,000 a month and it's relatively easy for you to get to that, if you just can't grind past that for right now and you're able to do that, man, that is success. That you're doing something most people can't do. And you should be thankful that you have that. Or if you're realistic and you're aiming for something like that, because that's how I started, folks. I started that way. In 1992, I sat down and said, if I could just manage to see through doing investments, $1,000 a month, I could retire a millionaire when I turned 40. Easier than I thought it was going to be. Because I had lowered my expectations and broadened my time horizons. I didn't pressure myself, at least in terms of timing, when I would arrive there. But I still brought my impatience about, I want to win more often, because I attributed winning to progress, proof that I could feel better about whatever immediate things that were making me feel insignificant as a young man. And if you're in that stage of life where you feel like you have to measure up, you have to present yourself to the world, you don't. You don't need to do that. And I wasted time and energy doing all those things. That's not excellence. Before I had lots of money, I thought everybody with lots of money had to go around showing everybody what their billfold had in it. You got to pull out this big knot of money in my pants and show everybody, look what I got. And this ain't all I got. This is what I brought with me today. Yeah, you might get strange looks like, man, why are you carrying all that around? Because I can. Because I have it. And because I intend to spend all of this before I go home today. And it won't hurt me. Because I want the reactions like you just gave me. And that's what young men want to do. But excellence, affluence, they don't live that way. They're not out there proving how much money they have. They're not certainly going out there and showing what they have in the bank account. That's new money. And I did that stuff. But the reaction you're expecting to get, you're never getting it. So don't aspire to do those things. That is not excellence. That's pandering to other people in hopes that they're going to worship you. And those things make you do things in trading prematurely. You over leverage, you take greater risks, and because you are basically undisciplined, you're not going to follow a model. You're not going to follow a plan, not the way you should. And what kind of results will you get if you're doing that? Subpar. And because you're doing it through these internal mechanisms that as men, we wrestle with it all the time. We all wrestle with it. I wrestled with it. Every other mentor out there that's trying to sell a service, a product, attention, watch my live stream, use my code, do all that stuff. They are all wrestling with it. But they're trying to put their best foot forward and try to make themselves stand apart from everyone else when they're all the same people. They're all wrestling with it. So I'm just trying to be a voice of reason and remind you that when you first start out, you have to prune a lot of these things away from yourself because they're detrimental to your development. They're going to hinder you. And you can't speed it up. No one can speed it up for you. So you have to give yourself permission to grow at your own pace and don't schedule your success. I better learn how to do this by this day, this month. And if I don't, I'm done with this. Then if that's what you're going to do, let me please give you the best piece of advice. Go do something else. I mean that sincerely because you're going to waste your time. You're not wasting my time or anyone else's time listening, but you're going to waste your time. And I would want to be told this in the beginning. If I knew that I'm going to be impulsive, impatient, undisciplined, irresponsible, not own my own mistakes, and not learn from these mistakes as opportunities, because that's how we learn. Anybody that tells you that you're going to walk out there and have 90% strike rate, you're going to be able to make lots of money, it's not going to be easy, you're going to have very small stop losses. Come on, man. And they're going to sell the course to you to do that.